Hey, all future Picassos. I'm Summer. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share the process of how I drew character design sketches with colors. This video is the process in which I attempted to derive a character using color blocks. The video was played at 5x speed, and the process of sketching took a total of 2 hours. Hope this video is helpful to you who want to learn digital painting skills. Then let's start enjoying the wonderful process of painting. Because one wants to obtain a satisfactory sketch quickly, I attempted to draw the shapes directly using colors. Mine first uses the color of the skin to construct the proportions and dynamics of the human body. Adding clothing to the human body is somewhat similar to the logic of how we dress. I think by doing this, it's less likely to get messy. What I want to design is the image of a female midge, so the dynamic design was not chosen to be overly dynamic. My original idea was to draw a midge who governs the energy of the universe. She is beautiful and wise, and can control the energy in the universe through magic to attack enemies. Being connected with the universe also makes me feel that this character is very sacred. So the character pose is designed to give the impression of moving forward slowly. Lift the head slightly. One hand hangs down. The other hand is raised in the state of casting a spell. The legs are designed in the shape of an inverted triangle. Such graphics can also form some graphic contrasts with the clothing design later. I didn't draw too many details of the human body because many areas will be covered after adding clothing. The detailed parts should be drawn as a whole after the final design is determined. Because I'm not quite sure what kind of image to draw, I first drew a sketch on the human body with lines. I want to see through this form whether the graphic feeling is the one I want. The midge image in the game, the overall design of the characters is mostly in the form of triangles. That is to say, characters usually wear long dresses, or the silhouettes of the clothing and equipment form designs with a triangular graphic sense. Such graphics usually give people a sense of stability and peace. It is also somewhat related to the profession characteristics of mages' long-range attacks, of course. These are just what I have summarized from the character designs of some online games. Not all mages must follow this rule, but when you don't have better ideas, this training of thought might help. You conceive quickly. I want this character to look light and graceful, so a relatively long hem was added to the skirt hem and sleeves. If the proportion of the styling is appropriate, you can directly use colors to add clothing to the character. What I want to design is an image of justice. Want to make this character look sacred and full of energy? At the same time, the colors can remind people of the starry sky and the universe. So I chose the classic combination of white, blue, and gold. Of course, these 3 colors can be used to design a character, but I think there are only 3 colors. The color might be a little monotonous. Adding another one to 2 colors will bring more variations to the colors. I designed white as the main color of this character. It accounts for the largest proportion in the color of clothing. I want the elements of the stars and the universe to be manifested. I want to be inside the skirt. The inner lining part adds blue starry skies and nebulae. The area of high brightness colors in the picture is relatively large. I want to enhance the contrast of the lightness of the colors. I added low saturation dark blue again. This color can also add a new material to the character when refined later. I use gold as decorative components, patterns, and small accessories. This is the first attempt. Past experience shows that a design is usually not the best. Sometimes, when designing a character, one has to repeatedly draw many versions of design sketches. The early design often does not have an adequate understanding of the characters. The more you draw, the more prominent the character's temperament becomes. There will also be situations where several design drafts are completed. It was found that none of them were liked, or each was refined into a part. At this time, I will also cut out the parts I like separately, then combine them together to form a new design. For the parts decorated in gold, I used the form of lines or dots. Only in this way can the metal elements become the embellishments in the picture. When adding decorative elements, I have considered the density relationship in the styling. Because the added gold is all fine dots or short lines, when they come together, they will form relatively dense blocks. If the number of them is not controlled, the picture will appear messy and breathable. It is also very easy for the focus in the picture to become blurred. The initial shape has been drawn. I made a copy for future use. Some special effects were added to this character again. It is intended to show the dynamics of this character at the moment of casting magic, because the overall breadth of the character is relatively more obvious. Meanwhile, the magical artifact in the character's hand is a relatively important element in this diagram. It is intended to stand out. So in terms of the special effects form, I chose relatively simple lines. A reflection of the starry sky emerges beneath the character's feet. There are countless lights and stars surrounding the character. At present, the character is only flat painted in color. The hierarchy and the relationship before and after of many structures are inseparable, so I chose colors that were slightly darker than each one to add the dark side. Be careful when drawing the dark side of a white object. The color selection should have a color tendency, because there is a lot of blue in this picture of mine. For a more integrated picture, I chose high brightness blue as the dark color of the white part. This color is selected based on the existing colors in the picture. If the bright color in the picture is not blue but red, then for the white dark areas, I would choose orange red or rose red. The illuminated surface can also simply add a little brighter color. In this way, the characters will be more three-dimensional. The final general effect of this picture can also be seen at the sketch stage. Doing so has both advantages and disadvantages. The results can be seen in the early stage. Be able to communicate better at work. But for designers, see the results too early. Perhaps your anticipation for this role will also decline. Anyway, is this way the fastest one I think for designing a character? You can do it for some time. Solve the styling problem, solve the color matching problem. At the same time, the relationship between light and shadow has been initially resolved. The part of special effects, I want them to be shining and energetic. So at this stage, I used the stroke and outer glow functions in the layer style. I want to draw characters in an anim style. The special effects of this style are also relatively flat. In this way, the desired effect can be quickly achieved. It's fine to choose 1 to 2 pixels for the stroke. Try to choose the colors that already exist in the picture. I chose dark blue as the outline color. The color chosen for the external luminescence is high brightness blue. Only in this way can the picture be more unified. Our picture is always a whole. When adding any color, its role in the overall picture should be considered. Next, let's try to make the second plan. I made the adjustment based on the first plan. Because the design theme and character occupations have been determined, the overall design won't change much. The main part 1 adjusted was the cutting form of the character costumes. The part that can be adjusted is more about the trunk, the form of the collar on the chest, shoulders, and neck, the shape and material of the chest garment. Is it a hollowed out design or a fully wrapped design? The length of the waistband, the form of the decorative elements at the waist, the form of the dark area on the thigh, the form in which the sleeves are linked to the trunk part. These parts can all be tried with more solutions. For this plan, I have added layers to the waistband part. More golden decorations have been added to the waist. Decorative elements somewhat like laces have been added on the right. Some layers have also been added to the hem of the skirt. I want the skirt part to have more three-dimensional structures. More golden decorative elements have been added. The sense of hierarchy of this character will increase accordingly. So I added golden embroidery and decorative threads to the white sleeves again. A golden bracelet has been added to the character's wrist. The shape of the sleeves is a little stiff. I adjusted the bottom of them again. This is like there is wind blowing or energy being generated from the bottom up. I want to try different styles for the skirt part. For this plan, I elongated the hem of the skirt to the ground. There are still some stacks on the ground. This soft and gentle feeling will be stronger. I also tried to adjust the color of my hair. Originally, pink was chosen as the hair color for the character. It is because I want to add luminous nebula elements inside the skirt. A small amount of pinkish purple and blue was chosen inside the dress for a gradient. Choosing pink hair can complement the pinkish purple color in the dress. But now the pink part of the dress is gone after adjustment. The pink color of the hair may seem somewhat jarring. So I changed my hair to silver white. These are also the colors present in the picture. The following several schemes also modify the costumes using the same logic, under the condition that the design direction is clear. One can start from different cutting forms of the clothing. Change the layers and outer contour shape of the clothing through cutting. Meanwhile, change the distribution of color blocks in the clothing. Even the hue of the main color and the auxiliary color can be changed on the basis of the existing color card. But such attempts might change the overall feeling of the character. The costume and hairstyle of the character are an integrated whole. When adjusting the plan, it is also necessary to consider changing the character's hairstyle and hair accessories. From now on, let's all follow me and experience the fun of design in an immersive way. for today's sharing. I hope everyone can feel the joy of painting during the process. Which plan does everyone prefer? You can leave a message in the comments section to tell me. I will bring you more wonderful content. Stay tuned.